Hello, everyone. I have another awesome quality story for my audience, so let's get into it. So, this story took place, it was actually still fairly cold out. It was still cold season, and, um, my parents had a friend that was gonna take us out ice fishing. So we end up wearing like we would like winter stuff. We bungled up, we bungled up more than a little normal, and I guess he had a cottage, and he goes ice fishing like pretty much every time it's winter. So what ended up happening, we were so it was a pretty cool drive. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a nice drive, but it was very long. It was a long drive because I guess it's up north, far up north. He has a cottage where he goes ice fishing every year around a certain time. From a certain time. So pretty much from cold season, and sometimes, and it's kind of weird because sometimes even when it's summer where we're from, over there it's still fairly cold. Like, it's still cold, so he get away with it and he could still ice fish because it's still fairly cold. The temperature difference just from the how far. I think it was like a 4 or 5 hour drive, something like that. It was fairly far away, but it was pretty cool because I was excited talking about ice fishing and the first time, we'll ever go ice fishing. So it was pretty cool. Um, he had a really nice vehicle, and we basically just watched the movies. And he had a really cool thing in the back where we even able to play video games in the back. It was a pretty cool truck. I think it was a truck or some sort of vehicle where you could watch movies and play video games. So like it kept us occupied. So that whole drive, like filling for 5 hours, it didn't feel like 5 hours because we were like occupied playing video games and stuff. And you know how it can keep you busy, and if you're busy, the time just goes flying by, right? So it was pretty cool. We a few times, went bathroom break, and we got some good food, some food to stop to eat and stretch and stuff. It was pretty cool. Um, and then when we got there, it was a pretty cool cabinet. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a nice cabinet. It looked like a nice house. It wasn't like upscale house cabinet, but it was a really nice cabinet. Don't get me wrong. It's like a basic house. It has the upstairs. It has the main floor, it has the basement. It was pretty cool. And it somewhat had a garage, but not like a garage. Just had this little thing where you could put your car under. It was pretty cool. And it was kind of cool when you get out because it's like peaceful. It's like nobody's around. There's trees all over the place. Fresh breeze, but it's like cold breeze because it's winter. A lot of snow piled up. But it's pretty cool. Then behind the house, there's like a lake, and it's like covered in layers of ice. It was pretty cool. And then you could see his shack thing, like pretty cool shack thing that's apparently up all year. Even in the summer, it's up. In the summer, I guess you could use this thing too. It's pretty cool. But it was really cool because we went to the shack thing, and we looked, and there's like a giant big hole in this, and it looks like the ice was cut out. It was pretty cool. And went ice fishing. Did it for a bit of time. Caught a few fish. Pretty cool, pretty cool. It was a pretty cool fish. It was pretty awesome. We walked a bit, showed us around the tour. There was like, it was a lot of forest. There was a few cabinets up there that was pretty nice. It seemed like people were friendly, nice, kind, really respectfully. There was like a play park place for like people that want to play the park. There was a field, there was a swimming pool. So it was a pretty nice place. It was pretty cool. It wasn't a very big place because there wasn't very much people around. It was far away, but it was a small little cabinet place, or I guess you call it a trailer place. Um, but all the people that lived there, they all look like they lived like in like houses type style. They all look like houses. It looked really really cool. Um, it was pretty cool. Then after he showed us around, introduced us to the people that were living around, they were like, "Oh, nice to meet you." They were very friendly, you know. They said, "Don't be scared to come over anytime and hang out." We're like, "Cool." Then he kind of showed us the cabinet a little bit more. He had a basement really set up really coolly. He had a TV. He had a couch. He had like a table thing. It was really cool. He had cool lighting. It looked like a pretty cool, I guess you call it a man cave or a cool living room. It was pretty cool. Video games, really well set up. Set up. It looked cool the way it was set up. It was really cool. Then you got the living room. The living room's pretty set up cool. Nice couch, a side chair, and a nice table, and a nice TV. It was pretty cool. Um, and on the other end, it was really cool. I never seen it before, but it was like a hot tub, and the hot tub was really nice. Of course, I asked if I could go in it. Of course, I did because I love hot tubs. Hot tubs are the best. I love the feeling of it. Feels good on the body. It's just awesome. Use it in the summer. You could use it in the winter. It's like somehow hooked up in his cabinet. It was pretty cool. You know. And show me the window. The window. You can have the window open. You can have it shut. It's pretty cool. Um, you know, no pet animals, obviously, no pet animals. Um, but it was really cool. The nice kitchen. The kitchen looked pretty nice. It was pretty well together kitchen. It's a pretty nice kitchen, I would say, because I've seen kitchens a lot worse. This kitchen was fairly nice. It had a nice counter stand. It had chairs. It was very fancy. We had the sink counter. We had the fridge. It looked like a expensive fridge. It looked really, really cool. It looked pretty awesome. And then pretty much after that, you know, uh, um, when we went ice fishing, it was obviously nighttime, and we probably stayed up until like midnight, maybe something like that. Ice fishing at nighttime, um, because it was 5 hours. By the time we got there, it was around I don't know, past supper time, I would say. Um, it was a really long drive, but it was really awesome, and it was a really cool experience. I caught some huge fish, like we were talking bass fish. There was all sorts of different fish. It was pretty, pretty, pretty cool. You had a net thing, I grabbed the net thing, and I caught like shrimp and all sorts of different fish I never seen before. A um, a blowfish, like those things that spin and they have spikes on them. I caught one of those fish. It was really cool. First time seeing it. It's a pretty cool experience. Ice fishing. I thought it was really cool. If I ever have an opportunity to do it again, I definitely would. It was the coolest opportunity ever. It was really awesome. So yeah, I hope my audience can relate to my stories in some sort of way. I really appreciate it. Uh, thank you everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day, taking it easy, living life to the fullest. And I will see you tomorrow with another awesome quality video. Thank you everyone. Goodbye.